This is Jonah Hill, and you're listening to the only podcast that matters.
Throwing Fits, Season 1, Episode 1.
The boys are back in town.
Series premiere. The boys are back in town. Lawrence.
Yeah, you mind if I take
Chuck. Chef. Not chefing today. How the hell are you?
Doing pretty well, man.
No, I'm not asking you. I'm asking Lawrence.
Let me take that for a little test drive, just around the block.
Go for it.
Throwing Fits, Season 1, Episode 1. This is the only podcast that matters.
The only podcast
Still.
that matters. Your
Well-
favorite podcast to steal from. Guess what? The boys are back in town. We're fucking back. All you other podcasts, you can start stealing our material.
We're back in
once
town,
again.
tear that ass up.
We were down.
Yeah,
We
they
were
said
out.
we would never play again. The doctors said we would never play again. But here we are, limping out of the tunnel.
Torn ACL, torn MCL, torn meniscus. We're obviously rusty as shit. No guests.
Wait, you didn't just practice in front of a mirror podcasting before you came here?
No.
You know, just
It's
see,
the ultimate
trying
fit.
to remember what it's like to simulate having a conversation.
We are the podcast formerly known as Failing Upwards. The first
Can
and
we say
last
that?
time.
Oh, yeah.
The first
Can
and
we
last
say that?
time we're only going to
What's
ever
crazy?
mention that
What's
name.
crazy is, and I guess the whole point of this episode is we're gonna fill people in on what happened, right? But
It's been the big topic of conversation. Iran and the death of Failing Upwards.
yeah, we're gonna talk Iran. We never signed an NDA and we never signed a non-disparagement clause with Barstool.
We
so-
offered to, but
yeah, we tried.
well, I mean, is the bridge burned? I don't know.
I mean, I could read the last communication we had from Eric Nardini, but maybe we should save
Which
that for
which
a little
occurred
later.
through a proxy.
As it's so funny. Over the holidays, people have been asking me like what the deal is or whatever, and I'm like, let me just read you the email, and you can judge for yourself.
Well, there's like a 20-second version, and then there's like a 30-minute version.
What are we
gonna
doing?
tell the 30-minute.
We're gonna do the 2-hour version.
gonna
So
do
let's start at the beginning. I was born April 6th, 1987.
on a cul-de-sac in Mawa.
Shit out in the middle of a cul-de-sac, right out
All
of
right,
my
I
mom's
guess one
pussy.
thing that we got. One thing we gotta preface this whole thing with is kind of like the terms
we're
of the original.
morons.
No, yes, but the terms of the original deal, because a lot of people are like, "Yo, you guys fucked
Oh yeah,
up."
you sold your IP, you fucking dumbasses.
All right, so-
get a lawyer, get an agent, get a manager. And to
To
that
be
I
fair-
say, yeah, obviously, in hindsight, 2020.
And to be fair, there were plenty of lawyers and agents that advised us to not sign over the IP.
yeah, for real.
And turns out they were right. But you know what? In the 2 years leading up to that point, fuck them.
The thing that people don't understand is that we couldn't, not selling the IP was a non-starter initially in conversations
for
with
El
Barstool.
Prez,
Right.
and the
and
Nardog.
Nardini.
which is
And
kind of bullshit, but
and-
whatever.
And if we hadn't signed to Barstool, we probably don't even have any podcast at all, let alone a failed one and the new one. So it's kind of like, what do we say? It's like Dr. Manhattan, right? We failed.
We exist
and
in all-
it-
time
it
exists in
came
all
up at the
moments.
same. It's in the same moment, guys. It just
The
Dr.
moment-
Manhattan type beat.
The moment that we signed over the IP, we also existed in the moment where we got the IP ripped from our clutches because they actually technically own it.
Strip sack.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
So we signed that shit away off rip.
we signed over the IP. But again, if we hadn't signed over the IP, it wouldn't have forced us. We wouldn't have signed the deal, and it wouldn't
Yeah.
have forced us to pod every single week.
Right.
Which wouldn't have turned us into the only podcast that matters.
Facts.
Which would have then had the only podcast that matters ripped from our fucking
Bars!
hands. And now here we are at an
Fuck your
undisclosed,
shit, Jimmy.
an undisclosed secret German location, a bunker, a bunker.
We're not in a German bunker.
We're in a German bunker.
Yeah.
All right. So
1917 in theaters now.
Don't even make me cry. That movie was.
Shut up, Chuck.
Ooh, you know it wasn't one shot, right?
No, it's 2 shots.
It was
Just two? What, like halfway through they started the second one?
Well, I don't want to spoil it.
it became 1918.
The spoiler is that it's not one shot, it's 2 shots? Is that what you're saying?
I counted 2.
He's keeping track.
I was high as hell,
Tallying in the
but I
theater?
counted 2 of them.
How do you always shroom before you go to movies?
Me
Wait,
and
you
my-
were booming before 1917?
No,
Okay, boomer.
No, before Star Wars, I did a bunch of shrooms.
How many? How much? Like a
like-
cap or like a full dose?
Like
One
an eighth-
shroom
like
or
an
2
eighth.
shrooms?
An eighth.
Yeah.
Nothing less than an eighth.
No cap.
Standard amount.
Get real weird.
Standard amount for a growing boy.
During 1917,
all cap.
I had some weed chocolates and I was zooted.
Okay, cool. So you cried.
A little bit. One single man tear went down my eye.
Did you cry more when Failing Upwards got canceled? Well, actually, also, we
I
didn't
didn't
get
cry at all.
canceled.
It was
That's the other
funny.
thing, too. To be fair, we'll tell the whole story, but we weren't canceled, okay? We weren't executed as much
Excommunicated.
as much as the whole situation. It was manslaughter.
It just came to a quick, sudden, pretty pathetic stop, right? which was
We dry snitched on ourselves.
all right. Well, basically, all right. Let's go through the timeline. What happened? You and I decided that come 2020, we wanted to test out Patreon.
Take a bet on ourselves, dude.
Yeah, we wanted to unlock the swag.
We saw every podcast that's better than us, how much money they were making on Patreon.
No, not better than us. That's the thing.
We want a little
These
taste of that.
subpar
We
podcasts.
want a little slice of the pie.
Yeah.
A little treat.
Yeah.
We want to quit our fucking jobs.
Yeah. James and Larry can have a little treat.
A little Patreon as a treat.
Yeah, a little cash flow as a treat. Also, to be fair, our original contract that we signed with Barstool in 2016 was for a year, and it was pretty mids.
Well, we got a set amount of money, right? And we were like, hey, is there any world where you see Barstool paying us more than what we make? And they said very quickly, no.
Well, when we re-upped and we signed, because when at some point, probably like what?
All right, year one.
Yeah.
Year one, we signed for the deal is we get 50% of all ad revenue.
Right.
Guess what? Barstool Sports doesn't know how to sell a fashion podcast. Not many people do.
No, they do
And
not.
so the ads were not hitting.
No, we're not.
Therefore, the ad revenue was a fucking trickle.
Yeah,
Not a stream.
What do we got? We got
That prostate was cancerous.
We got mediocre checks quarterly, and after about 3 quarters, we're like, let's
It wasn't even fuck around money though, because
No,
it wasn't.
No, it was trash.
Yeah, it was trash. So year 2, we asked for a minimum guarantee, and the deal with that is
advance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A minimum. A
You're
signing bonus.
You're a record exec. You know,
exactly.
You know
I'm
the
a sleazy
vibes.
record
Yeah.
exec. We asked for a guaranteed minimum, or a minimum guarantee, an MG, as they say.
Yeah, as
the
we say in the
parlance.
biz.
And then once we exceeded that MG in ad revenue sales, then a 50-50 split would kick in,
Right.
and we would get 50% of all ad revenue and 50% of all merch revenue. Guess what? The paltry sum that Barstool promised us, they couldn't even exceed that.
Well, I will say that MG was a sign of good faith because we were getting paid advance of ad sales that hadn't happened yet, and it was kind of like.
But they must have known that they
and
weren't going to sell
And
that
when we
shit.
say Barstool, we're talking about Erica Nardini. Shout her out, wonderful woman, beautiful
Yes.
on the inside and out. She was
Why are
willing.
you talking about a CEO? She's a CEO, bro. Why are you talking about a CEO's looks?
Token pander female CEO, as you know. But anyway, I always felt that Barstool, they did go above and beyond multiple times of taking bets on us, even though they didn't know
One bet.
they didn't know what the show was. They didn't know how to sell it. You know, it didn't fit in with anything
couldn't
else
make
that
the
they did.
merch.
Yeah, they were, and listen, say what you listen. Sure, Barstool might do a misogyny every so often. They might call Rihanna
As a treat.
fat whore. I don't know, whatever controversy happens. But ultimately, they were always a pleasure and a joy to work with, at least in our perspective, I thought.
The one thing I'll say about Barstool is I did respect that they never let, because we come from the media world where in this day and age, the church and state of editorial and sales
Facts.
does not exist. It's all one fucking SpawnCon arena, but they very much were like, don't listen to the advertise. Well, except actually for that one time where we really fucked over the advertisers.
We got in big trouble.
Yeah, we got spanked.
Yeah.
But no, so they're probably one of the few places where their
let
editorial
you rock.
is like
They
actually
let you rock.
is actually independent of whatever they're doing money wise, for better for worse. So
Yeah.
here we are.
So
All right,
shout out to them.
So we hit them up. We're like, hey, we want to
Right, we're gonna take a bet on
the
ourselves.
swag. We want to unlock the swag.
Also, I will say in that meeting where we were relaying, because you and I had been talking, it's funny, I feel like for a year, every single day when we took the train home after recording, we had the same conversation. It was like Groundhog Day in a loop. Like, what are we going to do? Should we take this bet on ourselves? Will our Patreon hit? Like, just kind of like in this hamster loop. And then when we finally decided to, you weren't even there for that conversation because you got hung over and you missed the meeting. And you showed up like a half an hour late.
No, like 15
smelling
minutes
like
late.
straight fucking Hennessy. It was disgusting.
what was I doing? I think my holiday party was the night before.
No, I know what happened, but I don't want to say. Someone you worked with got fired, so you were out celebrating.
Yeah. Yeah, so I show up a little late, a little smelly.
Stinky as shit.
How'd that convo go? I still don't know how that conversation went.
Well, I mean, so that convo, and this is kind of where things start to go downhill. So, so from what I remember from that convo, she being Erica, totally got it. She was like, listen, I'm probably negotiating myself here, but she's like, I'm not going to give you guys any more. Like, the MG is not going to increase. You're kind of tapped out. If you guys don't come here.
Plateaued.
If you guys don't come here and work full time, which is an offer that was extended to us a variety of times, which again, that's nice of them. We were never going to do it.
What would we have done at Barstool?
It doesn't even matter. You and I both know
No,
that.
like, what was the actual job offer?
To be content personalities, to do more pods, do more video, go on other pods,
Do blogs?
write blogs, do TikToks. I don't fucking know.
Hell yeah.
But ultimately, you and I both.
Renegade.
And it was kind of like a thing where, and I think we might have said this before back in the old days, maybe in a Captain's Log, but she was literally like it was a name your price thing.
Yeah.
She's like,
and then we
what-
said you can't afford us.
Yeah.
And she said, all right, get out of here.
But ultimately, I think everyone listening, whether you're like a stoolie or you're an East Coast media elite, you can agree that would have been like career suicide for us. You know,
Well,
like working for Barstool full time.
is there an example of someone
Me,
that,
John Legend?
besides
Hell no, dog.
besides Big Dick Mo, is there an
Yeah.
example of someone that was a full-time Barstool head that successfully bridged the gap into a post
Just
Barstool
mowing
career?
his penis, dude. That's about it. That's about it.
Well,
dude.
that's two.
that's
two success stories.
two humanoid examples.
Because everyone else just is either a fucking lifer.
you're in there, locked in.
Yeah, you're dying at
Yeah.
333 7th Avenue. That's public information, right?
What?
Their address.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can, you can Google
I think
that.
so.
All right, second floor.
I had to. I got lost many times. I had to Google it.
Lost from the Dwayne Reed next door.
Yeah.
Or you get fucking fired or ousted, and you become like you have to build your second career off the coattails of your Barstool career.
Yeah, for sure.
Pat McAfee, Light Switch
Francis.
Lou. Francis.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Now
Anyway.
doing blogs at Bro Bible.
Yeah.
All right, so we dropped that bomb on Nardini, and
But it went. Really well. So
No. I'm gonna say this. You were like, "Oh my god, that went really well." She's gonna totally give us our IP, our socials, and our subscriber base.
So-
Those were the three things that we wanted coming out of the however long the conversation was
so
gonna be.
let's
Those
back
are the
up
three
for a second.
things we
When
want.
we signed away the IP, that existed in that's like three things. From what I'm sure, the contract was way more granular, but it was the name of the show, the iTunes feed, and then the social media handles, all of which had been created before Barstool, but we effectively handed over
Yeah,
the
you
ownership.
signed it over.
No, when I had that first conversation with Nardini, where I relayed this information of us like not renewing the contract that you showed up late to, stinking of booze, like a fucking absentee father showing up late for the fucking birthday party.
Cheered you on.
Just just absolutely reeking.
Maybe that's why. Maybe that's where this went.
She
wrong.
was like, she even was like doing the numbers of like, the size of our audience versus like whatever amount would follow you. What did we say? Like 10% follows you through a paywall. She was like doing the math, and she's like, oh, Patreon actually is probably the right bet. And yes, I'm negotiating against myself, but if I was you guys, I would do the same thing. You should leave.
okay, but mathematically, she didn't really understand.
No, she was like, oh, you're going to be making $300,000 a year. You should definitely leave. I'm like, yeah, I don't think that math checks out.
Yeah,
but
no, mathematic.
know.
She's like, by the numbers, she's like, you guys are doing the right thing. But then she's like, what do you guys want? And that's when we were like, we want the three things back. We want the name and brand and IP. We want the socials, and we want the subscriber base. And she's like, great, what do I get? We were like,
Yeah, and also
Nothing.
she did say that the only example that had existed, the only precedent was Pat McAfee, and she said that and I guess I don't know if he ever because his show was his name. I don't think he was probably smart enough not to sell his name.
I think it was also probably he was also probably big enough.
Yeah,
At
so
that point. He was a fucking NFL.
The example that
former
she gave,
NFL player.
Yeah, the example that she gave was he wasn't allowed to leave with his feed, but he was able to retain the IP of the Pat McAfee show, whatever. But she was like, listen, I think there's a way that this could work. I don't really have an example that I can point to where like, oh yeah, for sure, we've gone through these motions before. So there was a bit of an unknown, but we left that meeting, and yes, I might have been naive, but I was fucking hyped.
Well, you were flying high, and
Because I was nervous. I had this whole conversation by myself. I'm the worst negotiator on record.
It's
I'm
true.
the worst
it's
negotiator of all
really
time.
it's really bad. It's really bad.
And I
But
nailed it. Stuck the landing, baby.
You're flying high, and
Triple axle.
my whole thing was like, yo, she now has to go to Dave Portnoy, who is or can be a vindictive motherfucker, and he might
Yes.
go scorched earth on us and just say no, they get nothing.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
And so yes,
Of course, that was always on the
Erica
table.
is our boy and our homie, but she's got to go to the fucking king, El Prez.
Yeah.
So that happens. I guess like there's a few emails back and forth, and she was like, "What? Just lay out what you guys want. Like
Prioritize
bullet
them.
point them and prioritize them, and what do you want to walk away with?"
What were our priorities? The name?
Well, actually, we didn't put them in order
Oh, we
first.
just generally
but
like
we wanted
everything.
We're like, we want everything,
Coming
and
back
we
for
want to
the
walk away
whole
with everything.
thing.
Yeah. And then she said, "Okay, I talked to Dave. You guys get nothing."
Right. So that was we asked for everything. She talked to Dave, and again, at no point in this process did we ever speak with Dave ourselves.
Right.
And
We were never granted the privilege. Although he was like in Miami. Oh, and I was in Miami at the same time as him. Actually,
Oh, you were gonna
should have
like,
run up on him
gonna
at the club
roll up
at 11.
make a deal and live.
Yeah.
Like a high-powered broker.
Exactly, Dave. I know you're here for Diplo at 11, but
Yeah.
So
So that sucked. So that we asked for everything, they countered with nothing, and we still thought.
So we
okay,
said,
there's
all
a
right,
compromise
we're at opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
We got to meet somewhere in the middle.
Mhm.
So you and I met,
Yep.
and I came up with a bunch of good terms.
Okay. All right.
Some very generous terms. Again, as a sleazy record.
Yeah. I
media
appreciate you
executive.
running those terms by me.
Yeah, exactly. Just need your rubber stamp here. All right. So the terms we offered were we want in priority ranked the name IP, then
the socials,
yes, right, then the subscriber base, because
you assume that the subscriber base was never coming with us to begin with.
The socials and subscriber base you can rebuild, and we will,
or flip them into at Barstool Cast, which I'm sure they're in the process.
Well, that's
of
what they
right
want
now.
That's what they want to do. But the name and the IP,
right?
You either have that or you don't. Right?
Sure.
You can't rebuild that.
And to be clear, there was never going to be a situation, and I could be wrong, but as far as I can even tell up until now, they're not trying to keep the show with new hosts, to have, as far as I can tell, but. Ultimately, that's why we thought, hey, Failing Upwards is us. We are Failing Upwards. So at the end of the day, sure, flip these other accounts. We're not happy about it, but we get it because it's a business decision. And I never begrudged them for even, not that they even relayed that, but if they want to do that, they want to do that. I get it. I would probably want to do the same thing. But the name, that seemed like something very easily could be transferred back over to the boys.
All I have in this world is my name, my
fucking
butt.
dick.
My fucking butt.
I thought you were going to say butt.
That is.
All right, so what we offered in exchange for all that was we were
a lot of things.
Yeah, we offered a lot of things. We said whatever money you invested in us, right? Whatever you did not make back, we will pay for out of pocket.
Should we tell people what we estimated that number to be? Because it's not ridiculous.
Did we estimate it?
I think it was $30,000 or something.
No, it was $10K.
Oh, okay. Low end, high end.
It was 10 to
$30,000. And Erica, I believe, mentioned this to us in that first meeting, was she has lost money on this show.
Yeah.
They advanced us ad sales that they never made back.
You can't pay for clout though.
No, you can't pay for clout.
All right, so we offered that. We offered
we'll buy you out. We'll cancel.
We'll close the tab.
We'll
close the tab.
We'll pay our tab.
We'll close the tab. We will give you
not what we do at Kinfolk.
We will give you
yo.
We will give you 6 months of exclusive ad sales rights.
Facts. Yeah.
And you get 100% of the revenue. Meaning
we'll keep doing fucking dick swipe reads till we're fucking Gucci.
Meaning that on this episode you could have had a fucking coming on your Burrow couch ad read, and whatever Burrow paid to have the privilege of having the ad read on the only podcast
they can
that
keep
matters,
everything. Barstool keeps
all the
it
money goes to Barstool.
Yeah.
So they just it's passive income. They just sit there and fucking collect.
Yeah, baby.
What else was there?
We offered, hey, we'll break you off all the Patreon money up until a certain point too.
Oh, that's right.
That was a last ditch thing.
3 months.
Yeah, I think you said 3 months. And again, it's an unknown amount of money.
Right.
We haven't even announced it yet.
Right.
Hopefully, by the time you're listening to this, it's finally reached the public because
and
it's the only revenue stream.
Here's the biggest thing. Here's the biggest thing. So we offered to sign a non-disparagement clause, which we didn't,
and an NDA,
which
we also did not.
Which we also didn't, which is why we're talking all this shit. But the biggest thing,
talk.
The biggest thing, and this was crazy in a way because we always thought that the issue was the money, but clearly they are making a lot of money elsewhere. They just paid the fucking Gilly, what's his name, $3 million for the podcast.
Oh yeah.
What, Chuck?
I was just thinking about the pussy that they made.
Oh, the Fifi, yeah. Those dudes rule, though. I get it.
Yeah,
I would pay them $3 million too. Also, what's crazy, and I don't know if this has been discussed, that was the dude that Wayne was beefing.
Yeah,
Willie the Squid. I don't have time to deal with Willie the Squid. Lily Pat. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I read it.
The Drought 3, baby. Anyway, that's neither here nor there.
But the biggest
shout
thing,
out
I guess,
Weezy.
The biggest issue that they had
Please
was
say the baby.
they two main issues, right? One of them was they spent 2 years, quote unquote, building this IP,
incubating,
which meant they would tag us on an IG about a guy dancing in a fucking Halloween costume every once a month.
Here's a dude rollerblading in Central Park at Failing Upwards. Hell yeah. No,
it's true.
No, I will say that shit builds your account on IG. I don't know. R. Kelly, if you're listening, find some dude fucking rollerblade dancing and put him on the account.
We're a rollerblading pod now.
Yeah.
No, in our contract with Barstool, their deliverables were they would allow us to use their production studios.
Facts.
Check.
Yep.
They would market. They would market us appropriately.
It was all within reason. Marketing within reason.
And it was
which again, loophole city. Population them.
Population a guy on rollerblades.
Yeah, right. Yeah, reasonable.
Spit out his box water.
It's reasonable promotion.
Exactly.
Whoa,
right.
no free promo, no free clout.
No, it's water in a box. It's not box water.
And the studio was always stinky.
Oh, the studio smelled like shit.
Well, whatever. Who cares? That
smelled like BO.
Dip all over the place.
Yeah. Is that? Yeah, but that's not something we could use in a contract dispute.
Was the BO because of that one kid that I said smelled like BO?
Yeah, the best is that we identified the kid who had BO, and then James, not knowing that, went up to him and was like, "Yo, who has all the BO?" It's like, obviously it's the BO kid, man.
Well, he's sitting in the BO room. I didn't know it was him emanating it.
Yeah.
Anyway, the other thing that they were really concerned about was, so they spent 2 years quote unquote building up the IP, right?
Sure.
And they were concerned that we were gonna be like, yo, we want to go indie,
This
and
is
then
the
turn
biggest
around
thing.
and sell ourselves to a Bleacher
Failing
Report.
Upwards presented by Complex.
Yeah,
something like
the
that.
Ringer,
Yeah.
right? Portnoy's fucking
Breitbart.
nemesis. Yeah, ISIS.
A competitor.
ISIS.
Yeah.
So they were like, yo, we don't want you signing with the competitor.
That was like the biggest fear.
So I was like, yo, easy solution. We'll sign a fucking non-compete for 12 months.
Easy money. I said I'll go 24 months. I'm working for myself, baby.
69 months.
Yeah. Anyway.
So that was it. Oh, and then the other thing, which was weird, is they were like, we don't want you guys to set a precedent. Which we were trying
Again, just blanket terminology.
Yeah, but we were trying to unpack what that means. It's like, all right, if we just like straight up bounce with our name, does that mean that a successful podcast like Call Her Daddy or Part of My Take could come and be like, yo,
pull the same old little
those
switcheroo
guys
that we
walked.
did. Yeah.
We
Houdini
wanna
the
walk.
bag. You know what I'm saying? God forbid.
But the thing is that like
I make the bag disappear, bitch.
gobble it up.
Yeah.
The thing is that like it's not a legal precedent. Like they can just say no to Part of My Take.
Right. But again,
Right?
we were trying to address every single concern they had so that we could walk away with something.
Yeah.
So
So
we
like,
were
all right.
staring the abyss in the face, and that doesn't feel good.
So we were like trying to be like, what's their fucking end game here?
We were hitting up
What's the goddamn business? Jeez, Dave Portnoy thinking?
We were hitting up our consigliere, the executive producer, Big Catherine, to try to even figure
that's
out, like,
right.
again, like, you know, making a murderer type shit. We're trying to get in the head of Dave We're trying to, like, profile him.
I snuck into the Barstool HQ because I was in the area, and I was
That's
like,
right.
yo,
Had a powwow
yo,
with the
Catherine,
boy. Yeah.
talking through with me, and he's like, yo, his theory is that Portnoy thought that we were Lou guys.
Yes.
We were, what's his rose called? Rose team or whatever.
Yeah, twofold. One is that Lou was the guy who brought us in, and that obviously Lou had his own kind of unceremonious divorce with Barstool, and that
got fucking
Prez,
booted
as a fucking big grudge guy, was like, anyone who's a Lou guy is never going to be, you know, on the right side of history in my book.
And so,
Which is like,
so
fuck Lou if that's what it
big-
takes. You know, like,
fuck Lou.
Yeah.
But Big Cat's theory was like,
Fuck
he,
Rose.
he thinks that you guys are Lou gang. And we're like, who the fuck is Lou?
well, we know who Lou is, but
yeah, no, but it took me a second to remember
Lou!
that this was the guy.
You're talking about Lou? Yeah, you know.
All right, so there's that. And then also, but yeah, it was the whole setting the precedent thing. But it's like,
And there was also this idea that because we had been offered full-time jobs or the
Oh, that's
opportunity to increase our standing within the company, and we had spurned them, that was a
it
direct
was
slap in the face
spitting in the face.
of David F. Portnoy. I don't know if that's a no name, but yeah.
Fitzgerald.
Yeah. So those were all. So we were we're trying to like bob and weave and address these concerns.
It was Uncut Gems. We felt like we were in fucking
Yes,
Uncut
yes,
Gems, just
yes.
running the non-nominated Uncut Gems.
I'm gonna come.
I disagree, Gary.
Yeah. I disagree.
Yes.
I disagree.
All right, so we hit them with the non-compete, and we hit them with, I don't even know if this makes sense, but a retroactive right of first refusal, where it's like, if we sign this, that means that whatever offer we get outside, we come to you, and you
get
either
it first,
match or
baby.
beat
Yeah.
or say no.
Yeah.
And that way, the precedent is actually better,
Yeah.
so that if Call Her Daddy gets a fucking call from Pornhub, they can come to you with the offer, and you get to dictate the terms first and foremost.
Yes.
I don't know if I didn't explain that correctly or if it went above heads.
No,
or if
you
it didn't even
definitely.
fucking.
I mean, and also to be clear, we're doing this all back and forth over email.
Right.
So
we kept asking for a meeting.
yeah, a lot of things we're getting. Listen, some things probably like getting lost in translation in the game of telephone that is happening between us, Erica, and then presumably, I imagine Dave. Yeah, I'm sure things are like weren't clicking 100% because like it was a lot of information, and this was all happening on a super short timetable.
Yeah, the holidays are coming up.
Yeah.
Dave was out of town. I'm sure there was some big sports shit happening.
Yeah.
They're
What
paying
we
attention
said was
to.
like, hey, we're committed to like fulfilling the terms of our contract, and we're potting till the end of the year, like we said, to the point that we
well,
had
at this
ad
point,
reads.
we thought we were going to.
Yeah, at the point.
That's the other. We didn't have ad reads for like most of December.
Yeah,
We
but
could have not potted.
But either way, so like we're trying to be as professional as possible, and like again, this conversation, while not that like amazing naive utopian version that I had leaving that first meeting, we were coming to some type of compromise. It felt like something.
We were taking baby steps in the right direction.
Yes.
I had run into Erica, and she's like, "Yo, the non-compete idea is very tasty. I like that. That could maybe like solve a lot of issues and a lot of like fears that we have."
Yeah.
So that I actually ran into her walking into the podcast with Antonio. And this is where it gets
the podcast with
super fucking spicy.
Yeah, dude. Oh man,
Spicy meatball.
Yeah.
All right, so it turned out to be our last ever podcast.
Well, to be clear, we did our last podcast. We, shooting the shit, talking about stuff, happen to have hot mics, whatever. But obviously, if you heard what got released, you understand that we published. I mean, do we even have this audio still? Does it still exist, Jeff? Is it on your drive?
It might still be in my
cloud?
laptop trash. I don't
Should
know.
we include it?
I got rid of
not all of it
because
because some of the stuff will never be released, and you guys know what I'm talking about. But is there?
Maybe we'll put it behind the Patreon wall.
Should we? That would be good. That would be sick.
That'd
dude.
actually be really fire.
Yeah. By the way, www.com. Wait, no. www.patreon.com/thronefits. I'm not a big technology guy.
All right, so the way that we do our episodes, right, is that we have the guests come at
Chef, keep the
6:30.
mics running.
Yeah.
Keep
Chef,
them hot, dude.
Chef, keep that. Get on that mic right now. All right, here's how we do the episodes, right? We do the interview, 2 to 4 hours with the guest.
we have the guests show up when we show up, and we all sit down and we do the interview.
Yeah. Then we kick them out, and we shoot the shit a little bit, just
Little
naturally,
bants.
just boys being boys.
See what the mics pick up. Maybe there's an intro. Maybe there's an
a cold
outro.
open.
Maybe there's nothing. Maybe there's a cold open. Either way, listen, we're gonna pod through it and we're gonna find out.
So we
But
do-
don't
so-
ever shut the mics off, and Chef knows because we've lost some fucking grade A bits.
It's true.
To the gods when we haven't had the mics on. So
We do that first large chunk of show, and then we do intro, outro, ad reads, whatever else we
we
need
might
to
even
do,
be
right?
sticking around just shooting the shit with the guests, just in front of the mic, not actively thinking that we're being recorded, but it happens either way.
So then what Chef does is he'll take that intro, ad read, outro from the end of the raw audio and splice it in appropriately.
Slice and dice, dude.
Just fucking rice that shit with his Hattori Hanzo blade. And that's typically how it goes.
Yeah,
this time, however,
Well, and also to be fair, an episode of version. I think we've talked about this before, but some final proposed final version will be sent through to the group chat. I will listen to
Yes.
that, proofread that, but
you
sometimes
do the post. You do the
Yeah.
post. I do the pre. You do the post.
But sometimes in a
What?
case like this, when you're on a short schedule and you have 3.5 hours of audio with Antonio, someone like Antonio, and we're not splitting it up in this case. We were dropping it, the whole thing. Chef might be like, "Yo, I'm still working on it up until when it's going to go live." But proofread the intro, proofread the outro, maybe proofread an ad. So you had sent through some audio,
But it's more that
from
we're
what I
proofing,
remember.
It's
I
more that
sent
we're
through-
proofing the interview. We always proof the interview. I don't think we really
No, but
give a
this
fuck
time,
about.
this
No,
time you
this
wanted
time-
to. This time you wanted to proof the outro because we were talking about it potentially
being the last outro
Oh.
ever, and because again we had recorded on Tuesday, it was dropping on a Thursday. He was still slicing and dicing that meat.
Yeah, because he came
that fat belly tuna. You know what I'm
You
saying?
need that ninja bullet.
He
Yeah.
came through with 15 other edits that I didn't mark down.
Yes,
when we were
and
recording.
sometimes
So-
after the fact, the guest is gonna
Yeah.
remember some things that they want shifted around or cut entirely.
A lot of hate speech.
Yeah, and then
Home
that,
addresses revealed.
and then that's being
Antonio, you brand killer.
and that's being relayed to Chef as well. So again, that ep was being worked on up until the 25th hour. So again, that was a situation where all right, well, we're not going to.
It was the perfect storm.
We're not going to hear that. It was the perfect storm. You're not going to hear. We were like, we're not going to hear the full thing till it releases. And I remember I was fucking on the subway platform going to work at 9:30 in the morning, listening to myself, spit bars as I normally do. Just self-care, morning routine. And I heard that fucking spice, dude.
So, yo, here's my take though. It wasn't that spicy.
Again, a lot of it was out. I will say, you talking about stealing equipment from Barstool
As
is
a
not
joke.
It was a joke.
Obviously,
That was
very
I'm
obvious,
using the
too.
fucking Dave Portnoy defense here. It's funny. It was a joke. I didn't mean it.
It's comedy. A lot
Yeah.
of the stuff was out of context. Either way,
All right,
there is
what
no
we
way
talked
that
about-
you could listen to it and not be like, these dudes are scheming their little schemes.
Bro, what we were talking about was we were filling in the groms on the situation. We told them that, hey, this might be, there's a chance that we lose Failing Upwards. There's a chance we lose the IP. So what are some good names? And we're tossing around Working Title. We're
Yep.
tossing around, what else was it? Taste Boys, right?
Yeah.
And then no, Throwing Fits was lobbed out too.
I don't
at
think
that
so.
point.
No,
Either-
that happened on
later.
the street. That happened on the street.
Either fucking way.
Whatever. Then we're
It
talking
was
about. They were talking about
somewhat
how
innocent, but
they were talking about how we want to scheme and steal some shit.
Well, we were
And
talking
talked about some
setting
other
up,
stuff.
Setting up the studio. You asked me to
Yeah, and then-
send you.
Yeah, what gear? Just fucking banter.
yeah, and talking about could we record after the contract was up because we weren't going to be. Listen, a lot of moving parts were happening in on mics,
A lot of
hot
moving
mic
parts.
situation, and ultimately it's like this. That was the thing that sure was somewhat innocent, somewhat taken out of context, but like as soon as it went live, I don't know about you guys, but like I was extremely embarrassed because that's not, even if it's innocent, it's not for anyone to hear. That is so inside baseball.
Well,
that's supposed
unless
to
you're
stay in
paying-
the fucking room.
Unless you're paying $5, $10, or $20 a month, then you'll get,
www.patreon.com/throwingfits.
then you'll get all the fucking spice.
Maybe we should. I mean, honestly, well, you got to take out some of that,
Yeah.
because some of that shit is not for public consumption
there,
whatsoever.
So there
but-
are two main subjects. One will not be named, but the other was the Barstool stuff. And you were mainly concerned with the one that shall not be named. I was concerned with the Barstool stuff. I was like, yo, if Barstool hears this, there's a chance it blows up negotiations, right? So we're scrambling.
Yes.
It's like I normally leave for work at 9:30, like a true creative.
Yeah.
And I'm just like
True
standing.
sleazeball.
I'm standing in my fucking atrium, just texting Chef.
Yeah, well, I was in the shower. I got out of the shower.
Wait, what time do you go to work?
Like 9:45, dude.
Damn, dude,
bro.
he's more creative than you.
That's why I run into Larry at like 10 a.m. every single day on the street.
As the most creative guy, I leave at like 10.
So you just said 9:30. So we're like frantically texting. You're nowhere
Time's
to be
a
found.
flat
I
circle.
call you.
And then I picked up. I'm like in my towel and shit. I picked up and I was like, I know it's never a good sign when I get a call from you that early in the morning. So I was
Or
like,
ever.
oh,
Yeah,
like,
ever.
what happened? Yeah, or ever.
Damn.
Honestly.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, no, it was pretty terrifying. And then like so like I.
What was your first thought when did it hit you? What had
Wait, have
happened?
we entered the trial of Jeffrey?
This is the
Epstein
trial of
portion
Jeffrey
of the
Epstein.
show?
Jeffrey Epstein did kill himself via manslaughter.
As soon as I saw the call, I knew I fucked something up. And then
Did you
What
know
happened? Was it literally a situation of like just too many moving parts for you to keep track?
it was like
Because you had the add-in twice, you had portions of the intro.
I
like a
forgot.
lot of
Well,
shit
no,
was
he
doubled up.
he
I
copied and pasted.
I took because I'd already sent you guys the intro and the outro, so I uploaded the full file again into the file that I was
Right.
working in, and then as soon as I got to the last cut that Antonio wanted to make, when I was like listening for it, I found it. It was like 30 minutes before it ended.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, cool, I'm fucking done. And so then I I put the
But
the
didn't
outro.
you didn't realize those 30 minutes had a
didn't-
repeat in them.
I didn't realize. Yeah, I just like wasn't thinking, and I.
It was
forgot
a
to- I
sloppy.
forgot-
It was a
yeah,
sloppy
It
edit.
was a straight
sloppy chop.
Yeah, no, it was a sloppy,
sloppy choppy, dude. It was a
No, it was a.
There's a hair in the soup.
yeah.
straight up. Yeah,
Pube.
fucked up.
It was a pube in the soup, dude. A pube in the stew.
There's a finger
No
in the
pun
chili.
intended.
Hand up. That one was on me.
What's
and,
funny too about
yeah.
Chef is that, and for everyone that was clamoring for his head, a few people hit me.
Well,
up.
quite a few.
I mean, I wouldn't blame him. That's
No,
like,
of course
that's
not.
a
I will
professional
say,
move.
and obviously you can like talk about how bad you felt in a little bit, but it's so funny to think that you are such a fucking all-star and arguably maybe the most, well, technically proficient person that participates in this entire operation. But
Except for producer Jay, who's producing this episode right now.
Shout out producer Jay. But the two times that you fucked up were this, when the bag was fumbled at the finish line.
The 1 yard
Through no
line.
fault of our own, through yours.
Yeah, that
and
was-
then the Jonah Hill fucking interview that was uploaded wrong because of the naming
that was
structure.
Yeah, I guess the naming.
So the
structure.
two biggest moments.
But like that was an
Fucking
unforeseen-
Russell Wilson
Yo,
at the
they-
1 yard line.
Yo, people say that Chef can't win in the playoffs, and honestly, at this point, like I don't. You're gonna have to. You need another opportunity to prove them wrong.
Yeah, I mean,
Luckily, we have a massive 4-hour slap.
I'm
Russell
just- yeah.
Russell Wilson at the 1 yard line.
with an actual bona fide celebrity
throwing
coming
a pick.
soon.
Happy to
Zuvi
still
coming
be here,
soon.
is all I
How
can
bad
say.
did you feel?
fucking.
Do you want to take this time to publicly
Yeah,
apologize?
walk us through that morning.
That
So
morning.
you're sitting there erect as a fucking rock in your towel.
Rock hard.
So I mean, obviously, as soon as you called me, I like fixed it right away, and I re-uploaded, and I like made sure like.
But also, like, we were like, yo, do you take it down? Like, the
Yeah,
texts
we
are-
also didn't really
yeah.
know.
the texts are fucking flying.
We're
right?
also
Yeah.
hitting up Mikey Pods, who's like our technical. I guess he's tech support at
Oh.
Barstool. But we're like, yo, don't like tell him too much.
No, but
because
that-
the last
but-
thing we want is him scouring through.
But that's
that
the
3
other thing.
hours to
That-
find out what we're even talking about.
That's the other thing. There was an ad fuck
Okay.
up. There's an ad fuck
right,
up.
which some people
right?
think is a lie, but there was.
So we accidentally, I fucked up the dates, which actually
we
was
ran
good
an ad
for us.
a week early.
We
That's
ran,
what we did.
we ran an ad a week early, and for some reason that would actually be an issue with fucking Roman Dick Swipes or whoever it was.
It was CBD.
Sure.
CBDMD, I think.
WebMD, Web CBD.
I don't know. You can listen to the episode that's live
Boneless
now.
weed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
boneless weed.
Boneless, it was for the fucking
Boneless Weed Inc.
It's for the kith weed, the pussy weed. And so we had cover.
Right.
We was like, yo, Mikey,
Yo,
there's an issue with the
dubious
ad.
cover because people were like, "What? These
No,
guys
but it's true.
fucking fuck up ads every week."
So we fucked up twice.
Yeah.
So we were like, oh, yeah, we totally need to take it down. How do we redo this? And I guess he gave us some advice, but his tone was a little off at that point. I will say that.
It was
So
slightly,
yeah, it was weird. So basically, the whole now internal conversation from that point moving
Hold on,
forward is
Chef, I still want to hear, like, walk us through that more.
Oh yeah.
So are you like
He's like, I just took it
are you,
down.
like
and re-uploaded.
sopping wet, naked on your bed, just fucking slicing and dicing?
Yeah, like
giving it that sloppy chop.
I pulled out my laptop. I made the
Make
cut. I found it right away, and I was like, "Oh fuck!" made the cut. Like did the upload thing, whatever.
I tried to not freak you out on the phone. I was like, hey man,
Yeah, it wasn't. You didn't make it seem like that big of a deal on the phone, and so then I was like, "Okay, cool. I'm just gonna take care of this real quick." And then as I was on the train going to work right after, I saw the text messages and all that shit, and then I was like, "Oh fuck, this is a fucking disaster." And I had like a relatively busy day at work that day too, so I was
sucking
like,
all in that tea.
Yeah, so I pretty much just like ignored a lot of my responsibilities there, and I was just like monitoring the group chat, walking outside every like 10 minutes, smoking cigs, and like just like
constantly
trying
blasting
to,
cigs to try to calm your nerves.
Literally, I was just it's the worst. The worst feeling in the world is knowing that you let your homies down. So I was just like,
you're fired.
I felt really bad. Well,
Did you think we were gonna fire you?
Yeah, what did you think was going to be the repercussions? You're like, these guys won't do shit.
No, I mean,
You guys are nothing without me.
honestly,
facts, low-key.
it's a fireable offense. So
Without Chef, we would be recording voice memos for the podcast.
You're recording on a fucking roach run.
You thought you were like, you acknowledged that it was a fireable offense.
yeah, and I told you, I texted the group chat too, and I
This
was
is
like,
before any fallout. No
Yeah.
fallout.
You
had
submit
even
your
been-
you submit your letter of resignation.
yeah, I was like, listen, guys, if this gets
I'm turning in my knives.
if this gets out of hand, I'll take the public blame and I'll step down. Like I don't need to do this
Throw me
anymore.
under the
yeah,
bus.
like, just-
Nardini.
yeah, I was like,
you can't
oh,
blame
yeah.
us, Nardini. It was
yeah,
Chef.
it was me,
She's
and I was
like-
like, yeah, I'll take one. I'm not even taking one for
was
the
a
team.
deep
I'm taking
fake.
one for myself.
It was a deep fake by Chef.
Yeah, I mean, it's just at that point, all that was going through my mind was like, you got to take accountability for this.
Facts.
And, you know, the
Grown
only-
man
yeah,
shit.
just-
That's some Vanderpump Rules shit.
That's
you gotta take
literally-
accountability.
that was
It's
it.
funny
And
because
so-
like
for
one
your
thing this
actions.
podcast has never stood for was accountability.
or responsibility.
But, but I will say, I mean, it was
Just actions,
It was
baby.
nice to see like the full squad effort to keep my fuck up under wraps. So like that
Tried.
was, yeah.
Well, honestly, in the moment, it's like we're doing a pretty good job. I think.
I
hey,
think
I think
we're gonna
we got
pull it
this
off.
handle. So when we release that fucking stupid public statement,
So what
we
we do, we
replaced the
pulled it
bad
down.
pod with the good pod. Though the biggest issue, as we learned, is that for various platforms that are not the big two, Spotify and Apple Pods, is that like they're all pulling from the source of truth, which is whatever the CMS is in Barstool, right? Which
Yeah,
is
I
how-
mean, like,
whatever
the
their
RSS feed,
whatever
yeah.
their hub is. What do we use now? Podbean. Shout out, shout out.
Podbean.
We're off of fucking Bean. Oh, right, no more Bean jokes. My apologies.
No more breakfast bean jokes.
Okay, sorry. But what happened was that certain podcast, whatever listening tools providers still had that spicy,
Also, people-
juicy ep up for like up until like midnight.
Also,
on that
people
day.
still had the
Yes.
episode downloaded,
Mhm. Yeah.
right? And they were like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah.
Like, and then you were fucking
Yeah.
stomping out fires all day.
I was
just
trying, dude.
literally begging people not to release the tape,
Yeah, for real, dude. The Panama
which again
Papers.
you'll find on Patreon
Yeah.
soon, I guess.
Yeah, and again, like, here's the whole thing. It's like maybe we're like, oh, Mikey is acting a little bit weird, but we're in the middle of this negotiation. We're trying to close out the terms of our contract. This was the final ad read for the year, and like we weren't getting really any feedback at all from Barstool outside of this just like general ad kind of replacement that we had to do.
That
right?
was also when the sex tape dropped.
Oh,
too.
that's right.
Yeah.
And the press sex tape came out. Not
Oh,
that day,
fire.
but like in that
It was
like later
no,
that day?
it was
The
it was
sex
later,
vine.
It was later that
The
day.
sex
or, like,
vine
yeah.
drop.
Wait, and I think we were like, "Yo, we're good."
Yeah,
Like,
because the whole thing was like, listen, even if we think that what we're saying is innocent, or it could, either way, we're like, listen, we gotta pray that no one from Barstool listens to this and maybe digs deeper, or like, prods further, because we're in the middle of this very kind of intense negotiation where like the name of the show is literally hinging on our relationship with
The
them,
existence
because
of the
we
show.
just needed like basically getting the IP back was coming down to like maybe we sign this non-compete, but then we're actually just asking for a good faith favor more than
I
anything.
mean, our saving grace is that I assumed that no one at Barstool listens to Failing Upwards,
especially if Failing Upwards, that is 3.5 hours.
and it's with like a emerging designer, right? It's one thing if it's like
Yeah.
Kyle from Summer House,
Or
It's another if
or a
it's fucking-
PFT or someone where
Yeah,
it's like,
exactly.
oh, I want to like listen to the
Yeah.
homie on the
Yeah.
show. Yeah.
I don't think the video monkeys at Barstool are clamoring for a fucking Antonio Consigliere
Yeah.
podcast. Did you get any? Did you get any death threats or anything like in your mentions? Were they a mess?
Literally.
Did you, Chuck?
nothing.
Me?
Yeah, were your mentions a mess that day?
No, I was.
A bunch of people had hit me up being like just trying to figure out what happened, or people being like the ad is bullshit, and then obviously all of like
And some people being like, "Yo, just FYI."
Yeah, there
I
was
think you
that.
guys maybe.
And that's the other thing too.
There was
People were like
people
being
looking
cool
out.
about it. Yeah,
People
people
looking
looking
out.
out, and then obviously you also have the Reddit and the Discord and like all of like the big gang super fans like really speculating and like getting all the conspiracy fucking wheels turning, because it definitely seemed off.
I was at 18 East, and this kid came up to me and was like, "Hey, what's up? I like the pod. Just so you know, it's like it's still up, like, and showed me on his phone, like I can listen."
Yeah,
to
we
it
spent
right now.
we spent the whole day like putting out fires and doing our best to like figure this out. And then I would say that I think about like this was a Tuesday, right? By
No,
midnight,
Thursday.
oh, it's Thursday, excuse me. By midnight or by Friday morning, right? Officially, everything had turned over. So now we're just like, who knows who heard it? No one had said anything to us proactively, so we're just kind of like sitting back and waiting. And it's like, just basically praying that nobody at Barstool heard that shit. And we thought naively that like, there's no way. There's no way.
So
No way!
so we're okay.
Just
And
constantly telling
and
yourself that to try to convince
we
yourself.
for real thought we were in the clear, and yeah, we had like convinced ourselves that like we were good, right?
Yes.
We were fucking golden. The bad pod is down, the good pod's up. Whatever. No one at Barstool listens anyway. Then
Yep. We
Friday we go into Barstool
for no reason.
For no reason.
No reason.
We're just there.
We're all just there just hanging
yeah.
out.
No, for like
It's like a corporate retreat meetup spot.
Yeah. Just
yeah.
chilling.
Central location.
Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
a really solid 4-hour hangout,
yeah. So
roughly.
I mentioned this earlier. I was like, "Yo, I'm getting a weird fucking
Yeah, why don't you walk?
vibration."
So what happened? You walked past Erica's door.
No. Well, the first thing was, I think we texted Big Cat, and he had texted something back like, "Good pod today, boys," with like a weird
like a joke, because it's like because
emoji.
of the ad excuse.
the ad. Like we fucked up the ad. That was like the prevailing narrative.
Well,
at least
so we thought.
Then, he's our friend. He's Big Cat. He's Big Cat.
Executive producer, dude.
Executive producer, consigliere, big fucking Catherine.
Big gang.
But he walked out of a radio room or some shit, and he just kind of like walked by us, and I was like, "Yo, that's kind of weird." Then I went to the bathroom, and I saw
to make a little pee-pee?
yeah, as a treat
Or a poopy?
a pee-pee.
Pee-pee? Okay.
I would never poo-poo at Barstool. Are you kidding me? Fucking get ass AIDS or some shit. I don't know.
Oh, that's just normal AIDS, by the way.
Okay. Nah, the sports
Damn.
AIDS. Sports
Yeah,
AIDS.
sports
The
AIDS.
more you
Jock
know.
AIDS.
Magic Johnson's train.
Athletes AIDS.
Athlete's ass. Athlete's ass. All right, yo, so I walked by Erica's office, and she and her assistant is like wrapping gifts on the floor or some shit. I don't know.
For Erica's family? Damn, I gotta get fucking Chuck on that. I'm not
And-
wrapping my own presents anymore.
We like briefly made.
Damn, what a girl boss.
we make we make eye contact briefly as I'm like walking by, and I'm like no longer. I break eye contact with her because I go past. I'm like, oh shit, and I go back to walk into her office just to say what up, and she had pretty quickly slammed the door shut.
Not a good sign.
So I was like, okay, not a great sign. Weird fucking vibes up in this bitch.
You relayed this
but,
information to us.
I was like, maybe she was just like on a call or didn't want to see that she was making her assistant wrap gifts.
And I thought you were, and you relayed this to the group, and I'm like, yo, you're being crazy. And of course, we're on high alert just for our cool hang. Everyone, we want positive vibes only. But like, I think
we also saw Mikey that day, didn't we?
Yeah, it was a bunch of weird. It was like 3 weird interactions, and 3 is a trend, as you know.
Twilight Zone.
Yeah, so it was weird. It didn't feel normal, even though like
It did feel weird. It did feel kind of
and again,
Twilight-y
so
zone-y.
everyone is clear,
vibes.
like just because the negotiations are not heated, because the negotiations were intense, everything was like super cordial, and again, like just a joy to deal with everybody. There was no issue, there wasn't anything like that whatsoever. So it was weird, and you relayed that information to us, and I remember being like, he's tripping, he's in his own head. There is no way that this is like really emblematic of the way that anybody feels. And yes, I was completely wrong.
So the weekend happens Monday.
Yeah,
you
we
follow
let
up.
everything fucking chill,
Fizzle
cool
out.
down. Right.
Monday you follow up with Nardini.
Yep.
And you're just like, hey, just following up. A lot of moving parts. Happy Monday. Hope you had a great weekend. Just want to know if there's any updates on the negotiations. Do you have the email?
I have it right here. Hey guys, we aren't going to move forward. I was getting there, And then the post audio made its way through Barstool, and that was pretty much the end of that. You should turn off the mics or not send in the audio next time. Go with Fail Gang. That makes a lot of sense. Thanks, Erica. Boom.
Oh, that was
Last time I talked to her.
nicer.
I mean,
Cordial but blunt.
but no, extremely blunt, and again, confirmed our worst nightmares that the audio, first of all, circulating around Barstool. God, I mean, again, I don't know how you feel. I felt extremely embarrassed. This is the most, like, for a squad that is, the cruising altitude is unprofessional, like, this was, like, actually embarrassing, actually unprofessional.
This is bad.
Not great.
It was bad. And then, like, she's put in a position where she has to fucking spank us.
This is on, yes, and this is on December 16th. Mind you, we still didn't even know what our path was moving forward. We hadn't announced anything to any. Oh, also, we should talk about how at a certain point, Erica was like, even if we can't give you any of the IP back or anything, we'll make sure that
figure out
all of your
an
fans
exit ramp.
know that there is a transition happening, and you can use the social channels to promote, or maybe even the show itself, to kind of let everyone know that you're moving on and where you'll be moving on to. And she was like, you can promo the new thing. So
this was December 16th, Monday. We were both, like, breaking for the holiday on Thursday.
Yeah.
Right? This is when that fucking Uncut Gems feeling really kicked in. I felt like fucking
Because
Benny and Josh were
that's
just filming
the thing.
me
The
on
hammer of
47.
justice comes down, and while you're kind of almost happy to have clarity and, like, move on from everything else, then you're like, all right, well, we're only halfway to where we need to be because we got to launch a new fucking show.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
A lot of parts to move around.
Yeah,
We'll
and-
get to that. We'll get to that. But yeah,
Oh,
so
and we should also say that we sent a huge apologetic email back. We, like, laid everything out on the line, and we still followed up about
You
using,
did.
Well,
wait, who
I
wrote
can see you
who
said
wrote the apology
cheers.
email?
we both did. We sent
Lord
it.
signs off with cheers.
Yeah.
That's the worst. That's the worst personality
That's
trait
the
of him.
fireball
That was
offense.
the real
That's my
pod
word.
killer.
Hey, if that's the worst problem I got, let's go, baby. But yeah, so we sent a joint email that was like,
How was that emailed?
It's great.
All right, cool.
We're-
I pride myself in
we
my
take
emails.
we took full responsibility, completely, like, egg on our face, hand up, like, took full accountability, and then I did follow up asking about if there was any chance, like, because the Twitter, they changed the Twitter password, like, immediately.
No,
No?
that happened the next day.
Okay. Well, either way, we followed up. I followed up with her about, like, is there any way that we can still do, like, can we have a little promo as a treat? Can the boys have a little promo as a treat? And then she, through Mikey.
She couldn't even deign us.
She was like, I'm not even going to respond directly. And then Mikey was just like, no go on all that.
Yeah,
too.
on a group text. He's
And,
like,
that, and then
hey,
that was,
boys.
and then that's the official last communication we've had with Barstool is a text from Mikey Podcast to the boys being like, no, you cannot promo shit. You're done.
So that sucked.
Yes.
Failing upwards, fucking dead.
Done, man. And again,
3 years.
Chef did not kill this pod as much as he manslaughtered it. There was no prior intent.
Right.
It was not a crime of passion.
No stand your ground.
Yeah. So ultimately, not great, but it is what it is.
So the next day, I'm in fucking Boston for a meeting, and my phone, like, literally, like, presenting, and my phone starts going crazy, and it's right when the Twitter gets taken from us, and that's when we kind of knew that it was. That's when it hit me, at least.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, they're like somehow
Changing
logging into our socials because we don't even know what the passwords are.
Yeah, right.
So they proactively went
The
to
group
Twitter.
chat of Failing Upwards is 90%. Yo, what's the IG password again? Like, what? Yeah.
So they proactively hit up their Twitter contacts and like, yo,
And-
we are changing this.
And then we
taking
were
it back.
even like, yo, before the IG is like ripped from our fucking cold dead hands, should we like go rogue? And there was a lot of competing opinions on what was the right thing to do, and we decided to stand down.
Correct me if I'm wrong, I was the one that was like, fuck them, burn this bridge. May the bridges be burned like
I
the
feel like
white
R.
post and
Kelly
shit.
was like
R.
trying
Kelly
to.
had his finger on the trigger.
Yeah, I think he was trying to like
I
devil
think
on
you
the
were
shoulder.
you
I was
were
like,
pumping the brakes. I was kind of
it's
like
not worth it.
a little mad.
Well, what I never wanted was like I didn't want this. Listen, I wanted this. If this was going to happen, we were always going to use it as content. We're using it as content right now.
I just watched-
and we should probably Patreon that hot mic shit because it's pretty funny.
I just watched the
You can
episode
find
of
it.
The Office where Todd Packer takes a shit in Michael Scott's office.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to do that to El Prez, but
Yeah, but anyway, so like my thing was like I don't want to, and at this point now too, the Barstool Reddit is like getting involved, and this is becoming Fail Gang news and becoming like Stoolie news, and I don't want to like be dealing with shit or be getting harassed or have Prez like put a fatwa on Failing Upwards and we get some social media weaponized against us or anything like that
Although-
because they do that and they do it effectively, and I wasn't, and as much as
that was Big
all
Cat.
press
That was Big
is good
Cat's.
press.
That was Big Cat's one thing when we talked to him when negotiations were still going quote unquote well. He's like, don't poke the bear. Portnoy's undefeated online.
Yes, exactly.
Except for when that guy fucked his wife. But
it was his girlfriend.
That wasn't even
girlfriend.
online though.
But then what?
No,
I don't
it was
know.
on a Soul Cycle.
Yeah, that was in real life.
But
In
then
real life,
no,
fucking-
for real. But then Portnoy actually did win because he then
tried to
put a
put-
fatwa on SoulCycle.
Yeah.
And they had to tell their employees to stay home because they felt unsafe.
Yeah.
You didn't know this?
Holy shit!
Yeah.
I didn't catch that.
Yeah.
That's kind of
Not great,
Good
Bob.
old Barstool. Yeah. So then we texted all of our homies, which is we texted Caleb, we texted Big Cat, we texted Jordan, we texted and Young Page Views, and we hit everyone up, and we were just like, and I forget how much we were sharing because I think we were still like kind of hoping that maybe Erica listened, but like maybe just an employee wouldn't hear. I just didn't want to embarrass. We didn't want to embarrass ourselves any more than we kind of already.
But there was also this morbid curiosity of like, are we the talk of the office right now?
I think this is when the sex tape happened. So it was like, again, we're like, we really were nobodies in this grand scheme of this universe that they did the Barstool
Well, Caleb
Xfinity
was like,
universe.
wait, what happened?
Yeah, he didn't even.
And
Well,
he,
he's
like-
also not the best judge of
Well, I think even Big
the
Cat was
comings
like,
and
I think even
goings
Big Cat was like,
of the universe.
I think even Big Cat was like, what happened? And we told him like we give him the very bridge version. He's like, wow, that's the most on brand way to
Hot
bounce
mic,
from Barstool of all time.
Fooly behavior.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah. So
that was the last, and that was the last. Those text messages, that last email from Erica, like that was it for us.
So Tuesday night, you and I scramble again, full fucking Uncut Gems mode, just running around, making deals. Our ass making deals, our mouths can't catch, or vice versa, whatever.
parlays.
Parlays,
a lot of parlays,
a lot of vigs, and we decide to go throwing fits. We do things like we register the Patreon, we register as many socials as we can.
Yeah.
We set up a Gmail. This is all like on our phones.
Yeah, it was mayhem. It was the
fucking
holidays
nuts.
were insane, and it was a lot
It was
of
the
scrambling.
17th or 18th. You're going to Texas the next day or whatever. I don't know what the fuck the Groms were doing. I think they were. I mean, I felt bad for these
that's
guys.
not like
'cause
on them though. I think whatever there was a lot of requests and a lot of collaborating happening because a lot of things, a lot of social properties had to be fucking squatted on.
But we're also just like
yeah.
But we're also just trying to figure out basic shit like where are we going to record?
Yeah, no equipment, no studio. Didn't even have a name up until we decided to go with Throwing Fits, which neither.
Are we gonna talk about the pod I did or not?
Should we?
Do you want to?
Well, that's all I'm saying. We're not even done with this story.
Okay, I'm sorry, but we're in the holidays. And that was
One thing that you're missing before both of us left for the holidays, or that I left for the holidays. 'Cause I know you were staying local.
Yeah, because I'm from New York.
Is damn, dude. Nobody, James. I'm from New York.
So cool.
Yeah, dude, you're fucking
Man, that
sick,
Dwayne Reed used to be a fucking skate shop.
Damn.
What, Lawrence?
No, Prez went on radio.
Well, that's the next fucking.
Oh yeah, but we were talking
Bullet
about like
point.
the scrambling during the holidays. This is before that because I remember
This is like we're still on the 17th.
Oh, okay. So this is right before whatever. Dude.
But no, so
Anyway.
I think basically you and I were like, let's just fucking, swallow our pride.
Yep.
Recipes filling up.
Fully swallowed.
We
like
put
a
up that
huge load.
put up that very eloquent statement on IG.
Oh yeah, fuck.
Patreon for dummies.
Oh yeah, even just like fucking workshopping that and like it was
Apparently,
just, like,
I realized this later, but if you're scrolling and you don't like click on the more for caption, it just says like RIP filling upwards, you dead bitch.
nice dude.
But then like
On
maybe
brand.
one other line, so it looks like a lot of people, unless they opened the caption, didn't know that we were moving on to a podcast.
I will
throwing
say
fits.
that outside of like again the big gang that was like felt like they were in the trenches with us, like I think there's a lot of people that still have no idea what the fuck happened. I think again there's this idea that they and I'm sure a lot of stoolies probably think this. Not that I expect them to be listening to this, but like Failing Upwards was trash and they were fucking canceled, and it's like that's not what happened at all. We were going to leave, and we kind of like canceled ourselves.
Well, we fumbled the ball at the 1 yard line.
Yes.
We fucking Russell Wilsoned it straight into the arms
Leon
of the
Lett.
goddamn Pats.
Leon Lett, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
Very topical reference.
So we're kind of unsure what to put out there, and then Prez goes public.
Yeah, and he was on.
You heard this first, right?
Yeah, well, I think Dunk recorded it or someone recorded it that has like a serious subscription. Then he sent it to us. Yeah, the weirdest thing about that was that like, so again, throughout this entire process, we did not speak with him once. When things were good, when things were medium, when things were bad, whether they were up or down.
when things no longer existed.
Yeah, we never got his input at all. And I was actually really nervous that again he was going to go full scorched earth, salt the wound.
No,
the whole thing.
you were bullish on Dave. I was the one that was like, yo, I think he's and I say it on.
I meant specifically what he's going to say on radio, but yeah.
Well, I said on the hot mic, he's a mercurial motherfucker.
Yes.
Who knows? Like, you can't guess his mood. Like, he might have a bad day.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that was the other thing.
Oh,
yeah.
that was the other thing. Oh, I can't say it. I can't say it. I told.
Oh, you told him.
I told Big Catherine I wouldn't say it.
You and I think, can be so consumed with this show because this is our thing to forget that in the grand scheme of Barstool, this is a drop in the ocean, and it's literally, he gave us, I think, 10 minutes on radio, and the thing that was weird.
Well, somebody called in.
Well, people had been calling in. Even when that episode came down, the initial episode, the Antonio episode, we pulled it. People were even calling in trying to see what happened with the ad, thinking that, again, Failing Upwards was in some type of ad read.
Second ad read.
Yeah,
scandal.
and again, when I say people calling, like one dude calls in, gets through, and then like, is trying to make it about us. And like, if I recall, someone relayed even that to me, where like they were like, "What the fuck are you talking?" Like, no one knows what the fuck is going on with us. But anyway, he was on radio, and then what he said was that he was going, the deal that they were going to offer us. So after all this back and forth with Erica, his compromise was that he was going to let us sell ads for our own show. His whole thing was like, they think they can make more money without Barstool. That's totally fine. Let them sell their own ads. But that never addressed the situation that was at the heart of this whole thing, was that, again, when you go to Failing Upwards on fucking Apple Pods or anywhere, it's presented by Barstool Sports, and that's still them owning the IP. So there was never going to be a situation, at least from this weird fucking sweetheart deal, even in this weird utopian version that he's talking about, that we get our IP back anyway, and we wouldn't have taken that deal.
Well, my thing is,
right? Am I crazy?
I just don't know how accurately our terms were presented to him. Because again, this is, first of all, it's done over email, which you never want to do. Then it's passed on to him, and who knows what form it takes when it's passed on to him. Because his thing, as I understand it, he was like, we want to keep them on our network, but they will do their own ad sales and keep all the money, which we never wanted. And I don't know if he confused us being like, you get to do the ad sales and keep 100% of the money. Yeah. And he flipped that and was like, no, okay, you guys can do all your ad sales and keep the money. And also be like, if he actually gave us that deal, that's a fucking horrible deal.
Yeah, I saw people.
So you continue, like, you make no money on this thing, but it exists on your network. Like, well, how does that benefit you, and why do we get 100% of the?
Well, I think it benefited them in that case because they would have still retained the IP, and God forbid the show blows
They do
up.
retain the IP.
Yeah, well, exactly. But I saw people online like criticizing him talking on radio, being like, "Yo, this is a terrible idea." Like you said, he's posturing, and like my thing is like, whether it's real or not, like. This sweetheart deal that he was talking about publicly didn't really address our main concerns. And I'd like to think if that's what he came back with, I think we would have said no, and we probably would have ended up, in all likelihood, exactly where we are now with nothing to begin with.
He also said, he mentioned that, they didn't want us to like flip or sell the name or sell the brand to another competitor. Which
Why
again,
would we want to do that? We want that name.
Which
so
again,
good. Throwing Fits. This name sucks, dude.
But
God
again,
damn.
we offered to sign. We offered to sign a non-compete.
Yeah.
Which would have solved all those issues.
So anyway, so that's that.
It doesn't suck.
Yeah.
What?
It doesn't suck.
Well, yeah, but it's not. Failing Upwards was the perfect. It's a bullseye. It is a 10 out of 10. It's perfect. It's emblematic of everything the show
We failed
represents.
up into throwing fits.
Yeah, sure. It is what. Listen, it is what it is now.
Failing laterally.
Yeah. Listen, again, if the only way to work for ourselves and own our own IP was to start from scratch, then we would have been doing the same thing. And again, whether the name was Failing Upwards or Throwing Fits or whatever, working title, we're here. This is where we probably would have ended up. All roads ultimately, I think, lead to this moment right now in a German bunker. Talking our shit.
Yeah.
So anyway.
And for a second there, like, obviously I was very sad to his Failing Upwards.
Well, you and I were going through the stages of grief even before things went nuclear with the leaked audio. We were like dealing with we were literally processing.
We were literally bargaining.
Yeah.
We were literally angry when I threatened to take a shit in Portnoy's office.
Yeah. I will say that because the negotiations with Erica were taking what felt like, even though they were all happening quickly, they felt so slow because we're obviously, at least I don't know about you, I was so emotionally invested. Like we did the show for 4 years.
No,
and
3 years. 4 years?
It'll be 4 years in May. So it was like 3 years and change. And like, I really thought that it was really clicking and finally, because obviously the Jonah Hill thing was sick, but like, as far as like good content and a good show, I think we were really clicking like right at the end there. And it is and for me, it was like the worst possible timing. That's why I think I was being so naive because I just wanted it to work out.
But also the
so
ancillary
badly.
shit, like obviously the podcast is the mothership, right? Like the podcast is like the fucking life giver.
Yeah.
But all the ancillary shit, the more exciting shit was also about to take off for Failing Upwards. Like we were talking to very fire brands about collaborating with them. We were talking to a fucking actual good shoe brand about doing a shoe together.
Yep.
We were talking to...
And that's all based on the numbers of the listeners. That's based on the numbers of the
socials
being verified on Instagram. Things as granular as that make such a difference and move the needle for brands, at least in our space. And yeah, to have that all like ripped away again, you know, for
So it sucked,
what we did, but ultimately it still happened either way.
For me, like, did you ever feel like excited or hyped to be like, okay, we get to start over from scratch now, and we will do it right this time?
No.
You never felt that.
No, I was so invested in the old shit, and I just it's listen.
You're just living in the past.
I will say
You want to make pods great again.
yeah, I will say
You're living for an America that never was.
Yes.
You're chasing a vibe.
I'm chasing a vibe that never existed, that was never vibing with in the first place. No, my whole thing was that by the time shit was going extremely badly and we had to rebrand, I already processed everything. So I was kind
You
of
were
like,
a
timing
you
kinda
were a
worked.
doomsayer from
Yeah.
from. It was funny. Like, you were so high, you existed in the extremes.
Yes.
I slowly
Facts.
I slowly trickled down from good to bad to good again. You just went fucking free fall.
Big swings,
You
dude.
free based into
Yeah.
depression.
Dizzying highs, terrifying lows.
Yeah, it was really annoying actually. It was like Lawrence, buck the fuck up.
Yeah.
All right, so now here we are throwing fits.
Word.
We are still the only podcast that matters.
Yeah.
And now even more fucking content.
You know, I will say that, like, if you are a fan of the show, however many of you exist out there, you know, I don't know where, you know, the drama probably lost at least 1 million or 2. We looked pretty bad. Probably at, 10 again? Probably at 8, 10 million?
Maybe 7.
But, yeah, I mean, listen, at the end,
Chuck, what's your guess?
I thought we were at like
we are like 14.
We're at
Yeah,
14. We're at
14.
14.
So-
I think we have that.
7.
You think so?
Yeah, I think
7?
7?
Yeah.
That's a little light. No?
That's a little light in the loafers.
That's a
Fucking
little
light the loafers, my king.
Well, either way, we are doubling the output thanks to Patreon.
I'm having fun.
Oh, another thing.
Doubling the frequency of the
I
output.
will say the dumbest thing I asked Erica probably that I would be remiss not to mention. I was like, what if we continue the current, like, you keep advancing us these ad sales, but we could, like, just operate an independent Patreon? And she was like, there's no way that
But
will
why
ever
not?
happen.
That's the thing.
I
Is
don't
like,
know.
I don't understand if
She was not, but she was, and that was literally, that was me before you were in the room. You were still getting drunk.
Yeah.
And she was like, she's like, no, she's like, that's not.
But
that's
did
not
she ever
gonna
say
happen.
why? Because I don't understand.
Ah.
Like, that way everybody fucking eats.
I think her point was, if you're gonna pod more and create more content, then you need to be doing it for us, not meaning us Barstool, but us Barstool and Failing Upwards as a partnership, not like behind a paywall that I can't nibble on. Not to mention, she's like, I'm already losing money on you. Why would I want to leave more on the table?
Yeah, well, it's like here's a massive revenue stream
doing?
that if you want like 10% of or something, maybe we can talk that out.
So again,
Come on!
But here's what matters, right? The show is not changing. Like, at the end of the day, like, Chef is still hitting that motherfucking Wheatus. The boys are still
Not today.
Oh shit!
No.
What?
Oh, I forgot I had weed. He said hitting that, and I was like, "Oh,
But anyway,
Chuck is still chucking.
The show is still the show, and we're still gonna have like the homies on, and we're still gonna do fucking the interviews.
No, we're gonna
that
have
you've
not
come
just
to
the
know and
homies,
love,
not just the homies, but
we're just more content.
We're
dude.
swinging for the fucking fences. We got actual.
Should we just
bona
say
fide celebrities.
I think a lot. I mean, we've been alluding to this a lot. Do you want to just say who we have on to kick off the show
Next week, subscribe to the feed because
Jesus Christ, Chuck. God damn it,
are we
bro.
gonna talk about the pod I did?"
Yes, in a second. God
Yeah.
damn, just wait your turn, bitch.
hit that motherfucking subscribe button. We just got approved before walking up in this German bunker ass stew.
Yeah.
Because we got Ezra Caning next week, and then hit the Patreon because to be honest, the first 2 hours are kind of boring. The second 2 hours,
Yo,
fucking slap.
Yeah.
What, Chuck? What?
No, I thought it was good. Don't talk
The
it down.
first 2 hours?
Yeah.
All right. First 2 hours are big gas.
These are the CTAs. This is what we need. First and foremost, subscribe to Throwing Fits. Rate fucking Throwing Fits 5 stars only, and please leave a glowing review. That influences the algorithm and how we fucking rank within. Oh, we changed the show. We're now a fashion show officially. But
finally.
we're so
One
that
thing Barstool couldn't. I swear to God, if we're not hitting number 1 in the Barstool vertical or in this fucking fashion vertical on day 2 of this podcast,
you quit.
I'm quitting.
Yeah, so we rigged the system so that we should be ranking and charting higher, but we need you to for that plan to come to fruition. Again, 5-star ratings, leaving glowing reviews, mad subscribe.
Share it with your boys. Share it with your
Yes.
boys.
And then if you like
follow the IG, follow the Twitter.
yeah, so we need our
Follow the Reddit.
Yes.
You follow Reddit or you join the Reddit?
you
Subscribe.
You
Subscribe to the Reddit.
All right, well, hold on back. So the new IG, we need to at least get the 10K so we can get our swipies back.
Yeah.
Need those swipies.
Give us that tap.
That's
tap.
Throwing Fits Pod. Hopefully, we'll be just throwing fits.
Come on, Chad.
There's
come through, Chad.
Apparently, there's been some internal pushback at Instagram that we need to work through. Follow us
Might have been
on
all the Zuckerberg slander.
follow us on Twitter, and shout out to Twitter plug. Got us throwing fits easy on
Yeah.
Twitter. That was like happened
That
in
was like
10.
day one.
That was like 10
Yeah.
minutes. So follow Throwing Fits on Twitter, and then if you like the show and you want more content, we are literally doubling our output, and that will be on www.patreon.com/throwingfits. So you pay us $5, $10, or $20. Choose your own adventure.
Yo, shout out the big gang. This dude just joined today.
Yo, shout his ass out. That's a good deal.
Dan Luther.
There's no deal at all. It's just please.
Dan Luther.
It's kind of a good deal.
Yeah.
Shout out Dan Luther
But if
for
you-
being the big fucking homie.
But if you want to be considered a big gang, definitely contribute $20. I like to get the Patreon pretty juiced. Honestly, we have
it's our main source of revenue now. It's how we feed the Groms. It's how we
Yeah.
feed Chuck.
And here's the thing too, again, we weren't making crazy money at Barstool, so if all things go according to plan, the Patreon will replace that Barstool MG fairly quickly.
And also,
we're not asking for a lot
if
here,
the
people.
Patreon starts to really hit, then you and I can quit our jobs and we can devote ourselves to the pod. It's a fucking
Factoid.
It's a snake sucking its own dick, self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah.
Just make it happen, please. So we can quit our
But
jobs.
with the Patreon, you're gonna get, because there's even some confusion here, because I guess our listeners are pretty fucking stupid. Again, a lot of these kids haven't graduated from 8th grade yet. But the point that I'm trying to make is that you're gonna get more. You don't get less. There's still a free episode every
Yes.
week. Oh, should we talk about the new release schedule?
Tuesday, Thursday.
Yeah,
Except
free-
for today.
Yeah.
Today's Thursday.
Today is kind of like a throwback to how things used to be. But Tuesday, you'll be getting free content from Failing Upwards. And
Well, the way it used to be was we would typically record on
a Tuesday.
Tuesdays.
release on
Chef
Thursday.
would have to turn around by Thursdays,
Yeah.
except for when we got ahead of things. But I feel like Chef kind of procrastinated up until the very last minute anyway. Too busy
Whatever.
sucking on that titty
Yeah. But anyway,
and
free
skipping in those
the
loafers.
new
but now we're gonna record on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday,
living in the stew, dude.
which means more
like
FU,
fucking Wheezy F baby.
which means more FUs after darks. Which
Yeah,
means
more boys
more
only-
out of pocket
yeah.
fucking banter.
Yeah.
just boys being geezers.
But it's very
geezers
simple.
being boys.
If you want more podcasts, subscribe to Patreon. There's also going to be video. We know people have wanted that forever. Oh, that's a funny bit we should mention. When Barstool always asked us to do video, we just lied
Oh,
and
yeah.
said that we couldn't because of our current contracts at our day jobs.
Right.
But we just didn't want to have a stool fucking watermark
Right.
next to these handsome ass faces.
handsome ass face. Yours
Don't talk
truly.
about yourself like that.
Oh.
I just call
But yeah,
myself handsome.
so again, the moral of the story is if you love the boys and you want more content and you want to support independent creators who are not fucking working for the man anymore as it
I
stands
mean, yo,
right
as soon
now.
as we hit 5K
Throwing a party.
dollars,
Throwing a party, baby.
throwing a fucking function.
A bash.
Big fits only.
Yeah.
You need to talk to your peoples at Kinfolk, by the way, about that.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
Uh,
And part of the Patreon was going to be some Chuckles at the Zoovies content. Do you want to explain what happened with your...
well, our very first Patreon episode was going to be Chuckles at the Zoovies. We want more Chuck content.
Well,
right?
that was going to be because you only had Chuck got 25 minutes with. Should we talk
Well,
about this?
yeah, but just generally speaking, with the Patreon, I think we're gonna have to get creative, and offer more than just big fucking fire interviews with the biggest celebrities in the world, such as for example, Ezra Koenig
Yes.
and
Vampy Weeks.
maybe Tom Sandoval,
Yeah.
noted forehead shaver Tom Sandoval.
Yeah.
And we know that people want more Chuck. We know that people want more Chef on mic. So we came up with this segment idea, Chuckles at the Zoovies,
Because Chuck loves
because
the
an
Zoovies.
opportunity came up where once again, this is similar to the John Moy situation from this past summer, right? John Moy came into town. You were away on your honeymoon,
Yeah.
and we didn't want to just we didn't want to rob the people of not giving them the filling upwards,
The full experience.
full experience with John Moy.
The
So we let-
360-degree
so we let-
tomahawk slam dunk experience.
So we let Chuck
From
come
the
in on a
free throw line.
Saturday or a Sunday
Was it Saturday?
and do a pod with him. So in this instance, we hit up our peoples at 824. Snubbed.
The good people.
Absolutely snubbed. Well,
Yeah.
the good people.
Well, this might be karma for why Gems got snubbed, but I'll let you continue with your story.
And we were like, yo, can we get the Sandman? They said no. We're like, all right, can we get Julia Fox? Or actually, no,
No,
they
we
asked us to rank.
Originally, we were getting Lakeith, and
They
Lakeith
asked
was
us to
booked
rank-
and canceled on us, and we were going to do
He didn't
that.
even cancel. He didn't even cancel. He just did not
Confirm.
Oh, and that was going to be with everyone. We were going to do a full.
We're going to
full
go
spread.
to his hotel room. We had the mobile rig.
Yeah.
Actually,
Oh, that was always going to be still just you, right?
no.
Oh,
Because
it was
that was
gonna
going to be
Oh, I was
on
getting
the
that, yeah.
Sunday
Got
before
it, yeah.
you left for Texas.
And that's a
whatever.
bummer because that would have been dope. But whatever, it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
That's how. Listen, that's show business, baby.
So as a make good, as a consolation prize, we got the Safety Bros. However, it was going to be on December 23rd when you were going to be in Texas,
Gone.
and so we
Flew
made
the coop.
the unanimous decision. That
Chuck versus Safties.
Chuck first the world, baby.
Yeah, and we kind of we got the mobile rig. Our boy Jeremy of the wonderful Blammo with an exclamation mark podcast. We got his equipment.
We fucking ran into producer Jay.
Yeah, we were
At
we
the
were,
location.
but we hustled and bustled to set this up. So you guys go, Chuck. How was it? I
Well,
haven't
hold
listened.
on. So Chuck, you were how nervous were you leading into it? Because you not only were you interviewing, you were also producing. I was just showing up to supervise.
So I was super, super nervous about producing, and I was like, I spent the whole weekend trying to figure out the little fucking iPod thing, and
The iPod
I
Shuffle.
taught you. You came. He came and saw me at work, and I gave him a tutorial. You should have recorded. Is what you should have done. But that's neither here nor there.
I know I thought about that after the fact, but so I was mostly nervous about that, and then I would start walking over there, and
Because Jeffrey Epstein was out of town too, right?
Yes.
So it
was me
It was
and
just
you.
Jimmy and Chuck.
It was just me and
Chuck
you.
and Jimmy.
and
Buddy
then,
cop movie.
And then I got there, and I
Straight
was
to
like-
video.
A Hapa and a Mexican.
Straight to Redbox.
I mean, I'm a super fan. I'm a big fan, so I was really
Of the
nervous.
Safdies.
They have 3 movies. Though.
I know, but I love them all.
What's the first one? You seen the first one?
Along Came Spiders.
No,
The heroin joint. What's
I
that
haven't
one?
knows what I saw that one.
Okay.
Uh,
I just watched Good Time 2 days ago. Rewatched. Fire.
Yeah,
Fire.
so good.
you think it's
Yo,
better than
actually,
Uncut Gems?
so I want to. So I
disagree.
I had a take that I had not shared publicly, but I had shared with the people in my personal life. Was that I preferred Good Time to Gems, but after now rewatching Good Time, that's a bad take, and I rescind that.
Yeah.
Gems is the pinnacle of the Safdie's oeuvre.
It's just a bigger. It's just a bigger.
well, big budget.
Big. Well,
Big
big
budget.
for A24.
Yeah.
Which is $5 million.
You saw those gemstone VFX. All right, so
Anyways, I
so
was
the
supposed
day,
to get.
the day arrives.
I was supposed to get 30 minutes. with
Sunday,
them.
right?
It was a Friday.
You guys went to the A24 office?
No, the A24 offices were closed for the holidays, so we went to the we went to the Trump building on Wall Street.
Trump
Really?
building. Literally the. Trump
They had
building.
rented out an area for the press junket?
No, it was like
ID.
it was like a PR office, but it wasn't the PR company I was dealing with. So I don't know what was going on.
And to be fair, all the people that we've worked with at A24 that are in-house and work for third parties that still deal with them, always been great. They got us Jonah. We've been to multiple screenings with the gang. Things have normally worked out great, and we have nothing
we
but
consulted.
love
We consulted
for A24.
We consulted on the mid-90s marketing.
We did. Nothing but love for A24 and all of their people. Just want to
Yeah.
put
To
that
this
out there.
day.
Absolutely.
We're just telling the story of what happened.
Unfortunately, we were only given 30 minutes, and not only 30 minutes, but the last 30 minutes of the press junket, which, as everyone
Yikes.
knows, is the worst fucking.
And that's by
spot.
design, to be clear. You already know they threw us
Well,
on.
we
the
were,
there.
yeah.
I was doing the fit check with Josh, and he literally said, "I don't want to fucking do this."
That's how it went. End the episode.
Yeah.
No, all right. So you and I were talking,
Yeah.
and I was like, Chuck, man, you got a lot of fucking questions for 30 minutes, bro. Like, you have as many questions that I put down that result in 4-hour episodes. So if I were you, I would start ranking these questions in your head so you know when the time's running out that what to scratch out and what to really
Got to
focus on,
prioritize,
right?
baby.
And my job was to kind of keep you on
You're the
the
Chuck.
clock,
You were
on
the
the
Chuck
clock.
whisperer.
on the clock. Yeah, so I was like writing little notes. I was like 5
You
minutes.
fucking idiot. Like that.
You wrote 15, and then you wrote 20. That was it. What do you mean?
Yeah, that's how much
How did
time we
how
had.
did you gain time? Oh, you
That's
wrote
how much time
20, then
elapsed.
15.
Yeah,
You know how-
time-
you know
it
how
was
numbers
it was
work?
Time elapsed.
Yeah.
Why are you doing
You're like, oh shit, I got 20 minutes now?
First of all, you're going to confuse this poor man with time elapsed. You should have just been like time remaining.
I said 5. No, I wrote
Chuck's
5.
like, I'm gaining time?
I wrote.
I was like,
Time
Oh my God, I'm a master of the universe.
I'm Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah, dude. Anyway, so it was going terribly is what you're saying.
It was.
So-
But you didn't even get a half hour, right? You got like 22
We got 20
minutes.
No. So Josh was sick, right? Josh wasn't even going to show up that day.
Oh, it was not
Benny
Benny.
was sick.
Benny was sick. Oh, and I kind of fucked it up. When Benny walked in, I was like, he's like, hey, I don't want to shake your hand. I have a cold. I was like, oh, you must be Josh. He's like, I'm Benny.
Damn.
Damn, dude, 50-50 shot, bro.
Yeah.
Shoot your shot. I don't blame you.
Yeah, all white people look alike.
But it's also about being cultured. Again, they're Jewish. They're not white. It's different. Were you an anti-Semite?
Fair.
Thank you.
Chuck,
Fucking
take it
bitch.
away.
I
How'd
mean,
it go?
It didn't. It didn't go particularly well. When
The
you wrote,
fit check ended up being like 19 minutes.
Time elapsed.
and just like in the John Moy pod, I could see James out of the corner of my eye, just putting his head in his hands.
Yeah, what were
just
you
like,
doing? Just lamenting the whole time?
So embarrassed.
I was like, how do I break it to Chuck that we're not going to air this?
Well,
No, we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
So
but
you publicly said it to me, to all of us, because
the
he
problem,
publicly
Chuck,
said it. You did a 6 out of 10.
Oh,
But,
yeah.
but in actuality, that's grading on a Chuck curve.
Yeah.
It's really like a 4 out of 10 is what he told me
oh
privately.
damn.
Yeah.
But Chuck,
So that's
the,
what he thinks
the
of you.
problem is that
Oh,
you're
you're a
no,
40.
no,
Oh.
40. The problem is that you're too
40
nice
shorty.
and that you weren't able to fucking steamroll them. And instead of fucking getting into like
that's
good
exactly,
questions,
Or
that's
even-
what, that's
or-
what Jeremy told me. So
instead of getting into good questions,
Oh, Jeremy listened.
No, I saw him on the street when I was giving him his equipment back, and he was like, "Yeah, you gotta just cut him off."
but instead of going into good questions, you let Josh or Benny, whichever one,
Ramble.
ramble about meeting a fucking elephant.
Josh told a 15-minute story. I was like, where'd
I'm
you?
never going to listen. I
was
had
like-
the audio. I'll never listen.
I was like, where'd you get that fleece? He spent 15 minutes telling me about how he got it in Africa when they were shooting Uncut Gems, and he
the
was like,
Patagonia fleece?
"No,
No, it was like a elephant
Oh,
refuge
oh.
fleece.
Anyways,
But also, it was,
I pitched them on a movie.
Oh, fuck them elephants, bro.
bro, you also what didn't register with you is that these guys don't give a fuck about like the superficial shit that we care about, and you should have just gotten into the film shit.
They're too cool for school,
No,
dog.
you asked the guy what. Okay, which guy had the elephant? Please.
Josh.
You have
You
50%
asked Josh.
chance, dude. Did he have a beard or not?
You asked the
That's
Jewish.
Josh.
You asked the Jewish brother director. You're like, what brands are you fucking with? And he goes, I don't really, I don't think of the world like that. And then
Oh
you're
my
like, and then you're like,
God.
no, but like, what brands are you fucking with? And I'm just like, oh my god.
So honestly, also let's be clear: like the Safdie Bros were mad corny in person.
No, because
I
I
think
think
they were literally the
they're
opposite,
just
exact opposite.
Oh, but they're just so exhausted. That's what it was.
I think they're
too
exhausted.
cool to fuck with
They're
me.
no, it's not that they were too cool. It's that you were
That's not
asking
good.
you're asking them the wrong questions. Like they clearly don't fuck with like Johns and fashion.
They're not materialistic.
But if you had gotten into the questions, you did give them prompts where they got super excited. The problem is that they then started talking to one another about shit.
Yeah, they totally forgot.
Anyway,
egging
no
each other
one's
on.
gonna ever hear this.
Did you tell them the KG story?
No,
Exactly.
we
should have told them the
Gary
another-
told fucking Twitter, dude.
Another thing is, I told them to do a biopic of Nomi Fry, and they were like, it made me really mad because Josh was like, "Oh yeah, like I don't really know that much about her," and then like
You're clearly not being serious.
I saw him tweeting her the other day, and it's like,
Yeah, but either way, it's
Yeah, but
like,
that was
he took you serious, and you weren't being serious. And it's just a
But also,
miscommunication.
I was being maybe like half serious.
Either way,
You were like trying to make a joke out of the question. He's like, "That's
either
not
way,
a good
this
idea."
doesn't matter because the
That's not the type
audio.
of humor we do on the show.
Either way, it
Do
doesn't
you want to
matter.
hear my? Do you want to hear my Moyle sucking a baby dick impression?
That would have resonated culturally with them. But the point is that none of this matters because the funniest thing about all of this is that the audio has been embargoed for arguably maybe the funniest reason of all time. Basically, there was some confusion as to our standing.
No. This is what happened.
I
right?
also
This is
kind
what
of
happened.
blew it on this front too.
Yeah, definitely. Go ahead.
Well, because the lady was like bringing them in, and I heard her be like, "Yeah, these are the Barstool Sports guys," and I was like, as soon as they came in, I was like, "We're not."
This is
actually,
literally this is less than a week after we were
Excommunicated.
excommunicated.
and I was like, "Yeah, we're not actually."
What's it called when John Wick is excommunicado?
Yeah, excommunicated. Which is just a cool way of saying excommunicated,
Yeah,
by
it's
the way.
Latin.
Just so we're all clear, dog.
It's Latin. All right, so she comes in. She's like, "These are the Barstool fucks."
And I told them that we weren't, and Josh, maybe you were saying I was overthinking this, but Josh seemed like disappointed.
He was
by
bummed,
it.
right? Yeah.
And then James was like, "Oh, are you a fan?" And he was like, "No, but they have a big following."
Facts, and he's not wrong.
Yeah,
And so I think
Barstool
from then-
does,
I think
And that's
from
why
then on-
he's the director and the brother's the writer because he has the vision.
Barstool does. Failing Upwards doesn't.
Yeah,
Didn't.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Even less so now that the fucking ID's getting purged, which is great to see.
But what's amazing about all of this is that ultimately the audio is embargoed on behalf of not A24 internal PR but external
wait.
PR.
So then
Let's let's go.
So then Josh, what?
No, continue.
No, it's a funny story. So then Josh is like, wait, halfway through the pod, he's like, wait, I thought you guys aren't Barstool anymore. What happened? Oh, no, you were like, you should do a movie on the rise and fall of Failing Upwards. And he's like,
Our
what the
biopic.
He's like, what the fuck is that?
I was trying to explain it. I was fumbling.
be the new
Oh yeah,
intro.
this is good, right? Yeah, I heard this. Yeah.
I was fumbling and bumbling, and James literally just stripped the mic out of my hand.
Strip
and,
sack? You got strip sacked?
Because again, I didn't know like what we were supposed. Like, we hadn't really gotten aligned on our talking points yet, public facing, because we weren't sure what we were gonna say. If we were recording this as Barstool, if we were recording this as Throwing Fits, et cetera, et cetera. So, so I fucking strip sacked the mic.
Like the fucking Mack truck, Khalil Mack, dude.
Gave the guy, gave them like a fucking 20-second rundown of what happened, and passed the mic back. And
Were they
yeah,
just dumbfounded? Like what? Because I'm sure even this
No, they were just
interplay
like-
between you two idiots they were like, what even is this?
they were just like, oh, okay,
That's exactly
Cool.
how they were.
Okay, all right. So
podcast drama.
So we do the pod. Chuck scores a 4 out of 10 privately.
Yes.
Publicly a 6 out of 10. And then we find out not from A24's PR.
No, the PR contact that I've been dealing with hits me up.
Who is
and
very confused about our legal standing within the Barstool umbrella.
I just got out of Star Wars, and he's like, "Can you give me
You
a
just
call?"
returned home from the war.
Yeah, can you give me a call? It's urgent.
In the stars.
Oh
What?
yeah. No, I was just thinking about this whole day. I felt like shit.
Was this it
felt
was
like
you were
absolute
living
shit.
you were living Uncut Gems. Scrambling to get the equipment, learn how to use the equipment, do the interview with the Safdie Bros. Hope it goes well. Hope you hit the parlay. Ultimately, brick.
Yeah.
Well, you were bummed when you were feeling bad about the whole thing?
Well, the next day I did shrooms and saw Star Wars, and I'm on shrooms watching Star Wars, and I couldn't stop thinking about how bad I did interviewing them. I was like, damn,
This
movies are so
this
good.
Bubba Frick motherfucker's
Fucking
taunting me.
blew it.
Yeah.
Fuck Bubba Frick. Yeah. So this guy's like, "Hey, can you give me a call?" And he's like, "So what's the deal?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yo, literally this happened less than a week ago."
What do you want? What do you want from
I was like,
me?
he's like, "You should have updated me." And I was like, "Yo, my bad. Like, sorry that you weren't my fucking first priority when this goddamn passion project was ripped from my talons." But I was like, "Don't worry, Barstool fucking sucks. We're better. It's better this way." I was like, "We're free of
You
that." Like,
thought, bitch.
yeah, I was like, "We're free."
Psych.
I was like, he's like, "Oh well, let me see here." And I can hear him like scrolling. He's like,
Yeah.
"You posted and you posted a post on Barstool.com." And he read the headline of the PFT interview,
Okay.
which I guess the Antonio interview didn't even go on the
No, we
Barstool
never-
You guys
pod.
no, we
specifically told me not to post.
We
that.
never. That's not one thing we told Chuck.
Oh,
Do not
that's
do never do the blog. Don't even think about posting this blog, dog.
So he was like, and understandably so, he's like, "Look, I pitched this property to my client as a Barstool sports
He
property."
must have felt like, talk about feeling like an idiot and embarrassed. He probably felt like he fumbled the bag himself.
Yeah, and he's like, "Look, Barstool Sports has this many IG, this many
Yeah.
Twitter. Again, that's all the fucking brands and celebrities care about,
Yeah.
right? What's he gonna be like? Throwing Fits has 200 followers at this point.
But I
Like,
fuck with you guys because you're like you're
cool.
Like,
You
you're
guys are-
super real, dude. You guys are like
Yeah.
very real, so I fuck with you.
your
Your
fits are fire. Yeah.
You guys are so cool. It's cool. Don't worry
No,
about it.
Josh really wants
Yeah.
that story
But the
about
only
meeting.
dude
Josh
that-
really wants that story about meeting the elephant out in the world.
Yeah, but honestly, the only dude in the history of the world to ever get mad that the shit wasn't dropping on Barstool.
I know.
So,
That's the thing. I was like, "Yo, am I being fucking gaslit here on the phone with this guy?" I just slept through half of Star Wars. What the fuck's going on?
so
Anyway, he hits
you'll
us back.
so you'll never hear it.
He's like, "All right, let me let's let the dust settle. Let me
Yeah,
hit you back."
I'll hit you back
I was like, "Yo, we're thinking maybe this going live in like mid-January or whatever, late January."
behind the paywall.
Yeah, I was like, "This is probably going out a month after the movie
Hey,
premieres,
dude, have you ever heard of Patreon?
a week after the movie's snubbed at the fucking Oscars."
Yeah, right. That would have been coming out. Actually, yeah.
Did you even ask him about Oscars?
Oh, no.
No,
Hell no. I didn't ask him how much.
Honestly, recapping is probably better than the actual interview, from what I
It was
understand.
So
a lot more laughs.
So the request was put out that we hold the interview / never air it, and
embargoed, and they went on lights. The Safdies went on lights, camera, Barstool. So our
One of them,
guy,
one of them.
who's no, maybe just Josh. Either way, our guy, who we won't name for fear of retribution, because we still want to be working with A24 indefinitely.
I held it over. I was like,
But
"Hey,"
that guy
I was
got
like,
him booked on lights, camera, Barstool, and he got, and who knows how much he had to scramble to make that happen. Though it seems like a very easy get. Those dudes were
Obviously.
like, so fucking pumped. Who wouldn't be pumped to have the Safdies? Either way.
Why would you do Filling Upwards not lights, camera, Barstool?
Yeah. So anyway,
But-
right. To
but
begin
no, so
with.
the guy was
he
like-
probably thought we were right. This guy has no idea. He's like the Jonah Hill guys. He
So the
doesn't
guy was
know.
like, "Hey, I'm
He
so
doesn't know.
sorry, blah, blah, blah." And I was like, "All right, man, I'm so disappointed to hear this, but we'll honor your request knowing that we can do big things together." And
Yeah.
then like pitched him on Throwing Fits. He's like, "All right, cool."
Dang,
we'll
that's
be in
a-
touch."
Yeah,
That's a great
yeah.
wording.
Cool.
What?
Hit me when you're at 10K on
No,
IG,
yeah,
fam.
No, because I was scared that like
Fucking
we would
nobodies.
blow it with the A24 forever, but
Telling this story right now?
No, no,
oh,
No,
move
this
it-
guy now owes
like
us.
this whole
No.
thing.
No,
this whole thing.
this guy didn't know that you were-
James
this
did
guy
him a
did-
solid. We had the,
Yeah.
we could have posted the content.
Also, this
he
guy
was
didn't know it's
asking
a
for
4
favor.
This guy didn't know it's a 4 out of 10. He didn't know that we probably were doing ourselves
He's
a
like,
disservice by posting.
Chuck, Slap. Gotta be a slap. For sure. I love that guy. He killed his Moy interview. I'm ride or die forever.
The way that guy chuckles once every 45 minutes.
So
I wore my Lighthouse hoodie to Panda, and I sweated through it.
Well, so it was funny. So Benny was like, "Oh, I have to leave 5 minutes early," and so the woman came in at minute 24 and was like, ugh. And then Josh was like, "Oh, looks like we're getting the hook here." So we actually, the 30,
sorry, nothing I can do, man.
we only got 80%.
Damn, I was having such a good time.
We only got 80% of our time with them.
Yeah,
which I didn't bring up to the PR guy.
Dude,
but we're a fucking cloutless, studio-less podcast with not even have 10K fucking. Can you smoke in here? We don't even 10K on IG.
Oh yeah, we probably should have asked. Anyway, I'm trying to interview Julia Fox's pristine dumper, dog.
It's
That's what I'm
vape.
trying to do.
What?
It's
Her
just
ass is vape?
No.
Her ass is solid. That shit is not gaseous.
Chuck would let her fart to see where it came from.
God.
Throwing fits.
So this is what you
She's
can
a
expect.
good
I guess.
Throwing fits still the only podcast
I wonder how
that
long
matters.
this was. Felt like it was 5 minutes with the boys. We're back. Yo, honestly, man.
boys are back in
A
town.
little rusty, but the boys are back in town. I guess I'll be the outro music. So I'm going to
Has
sing it
to
again.
be.
Yeah.
I got to shout because he's not in the room. Hey, Jay! Hit that motherfucking outro music!
Hit us through the porthole. Oh, yeah, Jay in the
thumbs up,
porthole.
all right.
Should we, any remaining plugs? No, everyone already did what we said to do.
Rate, subscribe, Patreon, follow. Please help me. My Chuck is dying.
Yeah. Woo. See you guys. Oh, we'll see you next week.
Or, no, yeah.
We'll see you on Tuesday.
We'll see you twice a week now.
On
The
Tuesday.
best, listen, because we'll never know if the quality of this podcast will ever be better than it is right now, which
say
is
that.
dubious to say the least. Between now, Thursday, and next week, Tuesday, just new content back to back. That's the best it's ever going to feel.
This
So
is
subscribe
either-
to the Patreon now, please.
Can't wait to see what the other podcasts do from this one.
And do at least 10. Do 10 or if you're 5, don't ever dap me up in public if you
Yo,
do
if you subscribe
Fuck
to
that.
5,
Bare minimum though. I mean,
You're
Russell, thank you so much.
no, if you subscribe for 5, you're a fucking broke boy who's it's all college students. It's all college students is what I'm saying, and they have no
Damn.
money. So if you're a fucking
so it's we should be so thankful.
if you're a
'cause
college student, yes, cop the 5.
That's
I
like
understand
literally
it.
2 meals.
If you're an
packs of ramen.
Exactly. If you're an employed professional, get that fucking
Yeah.
deluxe ramen. Get that Ippudo tier. Not
Yo,
the
and we
fucking-
are going. I know people are like, did you see Dick sucking Ron was in the court being like, Jimmy made me be a patron, but I'm only doing 5 because like they're never gonna actually.
Do you know how
videos.
much
Like,
money he
thanks,
makes?
Thanks,
Do you know how
bro.
much money he makes and
Well,
how he's
talk
only
to
fucking
Dick sucking around yourself, dude. He's your guy. But he was saying
shove my
how
cock in his mouth.
Yikes! That's consensually.
He's dick sucking Ron.
Consensually though.
Yeah.
Just to be clear.
No,
But
yeah,
no,
yeah.
but either way, he's saying that he doesn't think videos are
That's
coming.
slop.
And sloppy
Sloppy
choppy,
choppy.
dude. But anyway, we're
The video's coming when Chef figures it out. / when we put the call out on
and
social
Chef
media. and
is
somebody hits us up.
indentured now forever because he has to work off this fuck up.
True.
Facts.
Do you feel that way actually? Like, you've been like extra eager.
He's
beaver.
over it. Look at
I'm
this
not-
fucking guy.
I mean, I
He's
don't
happy
feel
to
as
be here.
bad anymore, but I
Time
just,
heals all fuck ups.
We'll
all
make you feel
manslaughters.
bad though.
No, I want
we
the
have
video.
to.
The video is gonna be sick, and we'll figure it out.
We gotta find our angles though.
I don't. Yeah, I
Whatever,
don't feel indentured. I'm just like stoked to be working.
You love the top down, making these motherfuckers look
Bald as hell.
stouty.
This motherfucker made you look bald as hell. Anyway, we'll see you on Tuesday.
Jay,
Ezra part 1. That's 2 hours.
Part 1.
And the other 2 hours is going to be behind the paywall. So again, hit that Patreon.
Jay.
www.com.
Jay, hit it.
Guess who just got back today? Them wild-eyed boys that had been away haven't changed, had much to say. But man, I still think them cats are crazy. They were asking if you were around, how you was, where you could be found. Told them you were living downtown, driving all the old men crazy. The boys are back in town, boys are back in town. I said, the boys are back in town. 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 Boys are back in town. You know that chick that used to dance a lot? Every night she'd be on the floor shaking what she'd got. Man, when I tell you she was cool, she was red hot. I mean, she was steaming. And that time over at Johnny's place, well, this chick got up and she slapped Johnny's face. Man, we just fell about the place. that chick don't wanna know, forget her. The boys are back in town. The boys are back in town. I said.